Today we're reading 1 Samuel chapters 15 through 17. In chapter 15, like chapter 13, Saul disobeys again, but this time the repercussions are even greater. And we find that God tells Saul through Saul, it's over. And some familiar quotations are in this. To obey is better than sacrifice. Rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. And another one, stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. So those are in chapter 15. And then we see that the disobedience was over the total destruction of the Amalekites, because Saul, he'd kept Agag alive. And as a result, he not only kept him alive, but kept some other things as well. And so he had disobeyed God. Well, the king Agag, the Amalekite king, who thought he dodged death, guess not. And then in chapter 16, David gets the call. David gets the call as the new king of Israel. And by the way, the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and then Saul needed something to kind of console him, something to kind of soothe his temper and his emotional attitude. He was a mess. Saul was just a nervous wreck. And David then becomes his harpist. Everybody needs a harpist, and that's what David became to Saul. Little did Saul know that the future king of Israel was actually playing the harp to console him. Then in chapter 17, David goes out and sees the troops of Israel facing Goliath, rather Goliath facing them and facing them down, by the way. And so this is the story, this is the great story, where David takes down that old king, or that old gladiator, should I say, Goliath of the Philistines. Great story. See you tomorrow.